the very azure waters of Honolulu, Hawaii. I actually studied there, hula and Tahitian, little known fact. I used to dance, and I still do sometimes, hula and Tahitian, and I took lessons there from a master instructor in Honolulu, Hawaii. Welcome back. I'm Dr. Gina. Thanks for joining us. If you guys want, here's what you can do. You can drop your city in our chat on Rumble, YouTube, or Getter, and we will give the weather for your specific city right here on the show. It is time now for today's health news, sponsored by the Wellness Company. Under the microscope today, Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton filed a lawsuit against Johnson & Johnson and its spinoff, Kenvue. Paxton claims the company has concealed evidence that Tylenol may increase the risk of autism if taken during pregnancy. The lawsuit does claim the companies used deceptive marketing, claiming it was safe for pregnant mothers to take, despite studies saying that the other could be true. Paxton also claimed Johnson & Johnson knew of the risks and spun off Kenvue in 2023 to shield itself from liabilities. And now we're beginning to read a lot of things about Tylenol and the things it can do in your body, and especially if you're pregnant. So make sure you stay up on all the new research yourself. Don't count on news to give it to you, because you never know who's paying for the commercials on the news you're watching. I don't mean us, but I'm talking about other places. A new administration in Washington, D.C. has brought a lot of positive changes when it comes to fixing our broken healthcare system. The reality, though, is that there's only so much the government can do, and if we really want to make America healthy again, that's going to start at home with each of us. And that's where the Wellness Company comes in. You see and hear from their doctors all the time on this network, and you know that their products are the gold standard when it comes to keeping you safe and healthy. The Wellness Company makes sure you're prepared for what comes your way with their series of prescription med kits. These kits have an assortment of life-saving medications and guidebooks that assist in the proper use of the medicines in the kit. Also, Wellness Company offers a variety of products from parasite cleanses to methylene blue, weight loss, so much more. These can help you stay healthy, live a longer, more satisfying life. Make America healthy again starts at home. Do your part, protect the health of yourself and your family. Go to twc.health/RAV today, give it an order. That's twc.health/RAV. Use the promo code RAV, save you 10%. David Brody.
Yes?
You didn't take Tylenol when you were expecting, though.
No. And this just in, I was never expecting.
I was many times for like a whole decade of my life. I do have 5 children. And I took a ton of Tylenol because I didn't know. All they said back then was,
of course.
You know, most of the information you get while you're pregnant, I think, is lies. It's terrible. It's sad. I actually had a doctor say to me once, you know, Gina, you're a high-strung person. You're a type A personality. I don't think it's a bad idea if you have a glass of wine every night while you're pregnant. A doctor said that to me.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, which
Okay.
I did. And my
Right.
children, well, you know, they're mostly fine. But they're like, you did take Tylenol, Mom. Like, I did, crazy. Because we didn't know better. We believed what we were told. And most of the things we were told, unfortunately, like infection rates in hospital are much higher than if you have a home birth, for example. Got to do your own research, David Brody.
Well, we're doing it here, and we're letting people know the truth. So that's
right.
a good thing. All right. Here we go. Let's move on to the ongoing government shutdown. Still going on. Back to you, Gina. No, we have more. We could be seeing an end in sight. Senate Republicans and Democrats reportedly looking for an off-ramp this morning to end the shutdown as soon as next week. Of course, the main sticking point has all along been health care. Reports are saying there are dual negotiations going on, one short-term deal to reopen the government, and then there's this longer-term deal to fund certain departments like agriculture, which funds, of course, food stamps. All right, so for more, let's bring in senior news producer for the Daily Signal. That would be Virginia Allen. Virginia, boy, what do you think? I mean, this feels like the gang of whatever. What are they going to call themselves? They always call themselves gangs in the Senate, you know? Well, that makes sense. They are mobsters if you think about it from a corruption standpoint. But anyhow, what do you think is going to happen?
That is a little depressing, that terminology. But look, I think
Yeah.
we're seeing movement for the first time since this shutdown started. We're, of course, on track to have the longest shutdown in history. I do think we'll hit that mark in the middle of next week, is going to be that historic time frame to make it the longest shutdown in history. But the thing that so many, including myself, has said since the very beginning is there has been no motivation to end the shutdown, and there wouldn't be motivation until the American people started feeling it. And that's unfortunate, but it's kind of the dirty business of politics. And because we're about to see SNAP benefits and we're about to see increased, I think, disruption at airports. We've already begun to see that, but it's likely only going to get worse. And those are the pain points that are required, unfortunately, in order to drive politicians to the negotiating table in earnest. Everything we've seen up until now, quite frankly, from Democrats has just been a lot of sidestepping, fanfare, complaining. But in order for them to actually take action, it has to come from their constituents saying, this is no longer okay. I can't feed my family. I need that paycheck from federal workers to go back to work. So it has to really require that voice and uprising from the American people. And we even saw that recently when the largest union for federal workers, the leadership of that, which surprise, surprise, are very Democrat, came out and said, hey, Democrats, you need to reopen the government. So it's those pain and pressure points that ultimately, I think, will be the factor that do lead to the government reopening. We still probably have at least a handful of days, if not a week or so to go, but movement is happening.
You know, there are very vital workers. There's no question, Virginia. You know, the air traffic controllers come to mind. Like, we need people. You know, although I honestly think that could even be privatized. Now that I'm talking about it, I think that could be privatized. Certainly the TSA needs to be privatized. I'm on this incessantly. There are a lot of government jobs, though, that just need to go away. And it's odd for me as a Republican to be taking the side of reopen the government, let's spend more money, when really, if we cut the non-essential workers and just started right there and privatized those that could be privatized, our debt would disappear overnight. I'm sad that more Republicans aren't still having this conversation. I think the American people are intelligent enough to understand both that right now the government needs to be reopened, but that these jobs that are unessential need to go away, and a lot of it needs to be privatized, Virginia.
Yeah, well, look, and I think that's why we saw so much optimism, favor, enthusiasm around DOGE, of course, at the beginning of Trump's administration, that the American people recognize our government, specifically the federal government, has become so bloated. There are so many positions that maybe were created years ago and served a purpose then, but no longer serve a purpose. And it really takes continual assessment and evaluation in the same way that corporate America does. That just practice has not been implemented in the federal government. And so, of course, we have seen steps taken in that direction, and the Trump administration is continuing to look at, okay, who really is necessary and who isn't. And I mean, you know, among some of the federal workers that aren't working right now, of course, you know, we need our Smithsonians back open, that kind of thing. Just because they're not working doesn't mean, you know, we don't need them in the long run. And when these shutdowns happen, it is a good litmus test to be able to really clearly evaluate, okay, what programs, what institutions, what offices within the federal government are absolutely necessary, and which ones are we just continuing to fund because it's what we've always done.
Yeah, there are some important questions. I just don't think MAGA is going to sit down for skipping over some of these DOGE cuts that we were all very excited about. Virginia Allen, thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
Thanks, Virginia.
Coming up, resurfaced comments from Zoran Mamdani, as I like to call him. His parents, the comments they've made have been making headlines. Unbelievable. And this is not just one of his parents. This is both of his parents, each separately. Crazy comments. We're going to tell you all about it next on American Sunrise.